Let's be blunt. The headlines might say the energy crisis is over, but for millions of households across the country, the pain isn't. The reality on the ground is very different from what we're told in the news. For many, the struggle to pay for basic energy needs is now a daily fact of life. Even though the worst of the crisis has passed, bills are still 44% higher than before it all began. This is our new reality, and it's hitting people hard. Every month, families are shocked by the numbers on their statements, wondering how they'll make ends meet. Government support schemes that once offered a lifeline have disappeared, leaving us exposed to persistently high prices. The safety nets that helped so many through the toughest months are gone, and now, people are left to fend for themselves. The Avgem price cap may dip slightly from time to time, but the truth is, bills remain 35% above pre-crisis levels. For most, that means the pressure on household budgets hasn't eased at all. Household energy debt has exploded to a staggering $4.4 billion, forcing families into impossible choices, like whether to heat their homes or put food on the table. These aren't just numbers, they're real people facing real hardship. Real wages are barely rising, and with the cost of living still high, families are falling further behind. Every pound counts, and for many there's simply not enough to go around. This is a national crisis of well-being, not just economics. The stress and anxiety caused by unaffordable bills are taking a toll on mental health and family life across the country. Why are we stuck in this situation? It's not just one event. It's the result of years of reliance on foreign gas, a legacy of inefficient homes, and a broken energy market that doesn't work for ordinary people. These deep-rooted problems have left us vulnerable. The idea of normal bills is a fantasy for now. For most, the hope of returning to affordable energy feels out of reach. In this essay, I'll break down why bills will stay high for the foreseeable future and what real permanent fixes could look like if we're willing to act. There is a way out, but it requires bold action, not just more temporary patches or quick fixes. We need to think bigger and demand more from our leaders. To truly fix this, we need to understand the roots of the crisis and tackle them head-on. Only then can we build a fairer, more secure energy future for everyone. Let's get into it. The main reason our bills are so high: our addiction to fossil fuels, especially gas. The UK relies on gas for heating and electricity, making us vulnerable to global price shocks. When international events spike gas prices, our bills soar because we're price takers, not price makers. This dependency has cost the UK economy $183 billion in just 4 years. Experts warned us for years, but we failed to diversify. Every household paid a gas tax during the crisis, an extra $2,200 on average. This isn't bad luck. It's a policy failure. Until we break our gas addiction, we'll stay trapped in this cycle. Real change means moving away from fossil fuels, fast. Gas prices have dropped from their peak, so why are bills still high? Because normal cheap gas is gone. Global instability keeps prices elevated. Every threat or conflict adds a risk premium, pushing up costs. The UK's bills are tied to these global markets, so volatility hits us directly. Avgem's price cap reflects these high wholesale costs. Even as inflation cools elsewhere, energy bills remain a top financial pressure. For low-income families, the impact is devastating. Millions are going without essentials. This isn't just about turning down the thermostat, it's about real hardship. Global events directly affect homes in Manchester or Glasgow. Our vulnerability is built into the system. Beyond global prices, our homes are a huge part of the problem. The buildings we live in shape not just our comfort, but our energy bills and even our health. Yet, for decades, we've overlooked just how much our homes contribute to the crisis. UK houses are some of the oldest and least efficient in Europe. Leaky, drafty, and expensive to heat. Many were built long before modern insulation standards, and it shows every winter. We're paying to heat the street, wasting energy and money. Heat seeps out through thin walls, single-glazed windows, and uninsulated roofs, making it nearly impossible to keep homes warm without cranking up the thermostat. Government insulation schemes have been inconsistent or underfunded for years. Promises are made, but progress is slow, leaving millions of homes behind. A well-insulated home can slash bills, no matter what happens to global prices. It means less energy wasted, more comfort, and real savings that last year after year. We've ignored the easiest way to cut costs, using less energy. Simple changes like better insulation and smarter heating can make a huge difference. Poorer households suffer most, stuck in cold, inefficient homes. They're forced to choose between heating and other essentials, deepening inequality. This isn't just economic, it's a health crisis with cold homes linked to illness and excess deaths. Children, the elderly, and those with health conditions are especially at risk. Our failure to insulate is costing us money and making us sick. Every winter, families face impossible choices and mounting bills. Fixing efficiency is the fastest way to lower bills, for good. By investing in our homes, we can protect our wallets, our health, and our future, starting right now. The UK leads in offshore wind, and renewables are now far cheaper than gas. So why aren't bills lower? Because our market is broken. Electricity prices are set by the most expensive source, usually gas, even when we use cheap wind power. This marginal pricing system means everyone pays inflated prices. We're generating cheap power, but selling it at gas-inflated rates. Consumers aren't seeing the benefits of renewables, undermining support for green change. We need to decouple renewable prices from gas, through market reform or separate green tariffs. If wind power is cheap, bills should reflect that. Fixing the market is essential to pass savings to households. The renewable revolution won't lower bills until we change the rules. Government support during the crisis was vital, but it came at a huge cost. $64 billion in borrowed money. Now, we're paying billions in interest every year, limiting future investment in real solutions. This debt makes politicians hesitant to fund long-term fixes, like insulation or renewables. The emergency support was a short-term patch that made long-term solutions harder to fund. Broad support schemes were inefficient, helping everyone, but not enough for those who needed it most. Next time, support must be targeted at those in real need. We need structural solutions, not just more borrowing. The closest thing to a silver bullet? Insulation. A well-insulated home needs less energy, delivering permanent savings. We need a national mission to upgrade homes, lofts, walls, windows. These proven methods can save families hundreds every year. Beyond insulation, we must shift from gas boilers to electric heat pumps. Efficient, clean, and future-proof. Combine heat pumps, insulation, and renewables, and you get affordable, secure heating. This requires government strategy, grants, and long-term investment. It's as vital as building railways or roads. Treat homes as critical infrastructure. Slash bills, improve health, create jobs, and break our gas dependence. Insulation is the ultimate fix. The other pillar of a permanent fix is switching to homegrown renewables. Every wind turbine and solar panel brings us closer to energy independence. Renewables are now cheaper than gas. Investing in them lowers costs for everyone. We need to build faster, upgrade the grid, and invest in storage to make renewables reliable. This transition creates a virtuous circle. More renewables, lower prices, cleaner power. It makes heat pumps and electric vehicles cheaper to run, accelerating the move away from gas. A modern, resilient energy system is within reach. It's about British wind and sun powering our future. Lower bills, safer climate, and true energy security. The economics and the urgency are clear. While we work to fix the energy system for the long term, millions of people across the country need urgent help right now. Every day, families are forced to make impossible choices between heating their homes and putting food on the table. The cost of living crisis is hitting the most vulnerable the hardest, and immediate action is essential to prevent further hardship. The answer isn't broad, untargeted subsidies that benefit everyone equally, but rather focused, targeted support, starting with a social tariff designed for those who need it most. A social tariff gives low-income households a discounted rate on their energy bills, along with lower standing charges, making energy more affordable for those struggling to keep up. This isn't just a handout. It's a vital piece of social infrastructure, ensuring that everyone has access to the basic energy they need to live with dignity and security. By protecting the most vulnerable from fuel poverty and mounting debt, we help families stay warm and healthy and prevent the stress and anxiety that comes with unaffordable bills. Welfare benefits must also be updated to reflect today's real energy costs, so that support keeps pace with rising prices and no one is left behind. The support system should be flexible and responsive, able to react quickly to shocks and prevent families from falling into crisis when prices spike or incomes drop unexpectedly. Building a fair energy system means providing cheap, clean power for all, while ensuring that those who need extra help receive it, so no one is left in the cold. We can insulate homes, switch to renewables, reform energy markets, and create a strong safety net that protects everyone, especially in tough times. With real political will and collective action, we can fix this crisis for good, making energy affordable, secure, and fair for everyone, now and for generations to come.